He gonna like this whole forest on fire. Hi, I'm Jay, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things lifestyle, health, and wellness. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you know when I post new content. Now, let's get into this Cancun trip. It was so fun. I hope y'all enjoyed the package at the beginning of the video. I couldn't record everything from the trip simply because we were having fun. So I kept forgetting to record different things that we were doing, but I feel like for the most part, I got a good gist of our experience first time going to Cancun, and it was really fun. Now, one thing that made us nervous before we went, and then I'm sure other people, just 2023, I'm recording this, is it safe to go to Cancun? The answer, yes. I feel like it was safe. I felt safe there, but I want to talk a little bit about do's and don'ts when going to Cancun or to Mexico in general, I guess. Just because I think, of course, there are ways to go and not be safe, but I feel like, everything that we did and where we stayed and the different things that we planned, we did it in a safe manner. So let's get into a couple of these do's and don'ts. Number one, do stay at a resort, all-inclusive resort. Don't stay at an Airbnb, if you ask me. Now, we didn't stay at an Airbnb. We stayed at the Royalton CHIC Cancun. It was an adults only, all-inclusive resort, and I felt very safe there. From the airport ride to the resort, we didn't have any issues. Now, I will say when we first got off the plane, we were overwhelmed. I wish I would have recorded that. They were just bombarding us. Take our taxi, take our taxi. This is how they get money. We'll charge 40 to take you. We'll charge 20 to take you. We'll charge 60. You just literally being shouted at. I remember at one point saying, I am overwhelmed. I don't know who to go with. So that was a little overwhelming. I'm sure there are some resorts that provide a shuttle service back and forth. Ours didn't, so we just had to book when we got off the plane. But anyway, like I said, staying at an all-inclusive resort, there's a lot to do on the resort. A lot to see, food, drinks, all there, beach there, pool there, parties there. So, if you are going to travel to Cancun or even anywhere in Mexico, it's probably smartest to stay at an all-inclusive resort versus an Airbnb because you are with other tourists, other travelers, and you just a little bit safer in that aspect. Another thing you definitely want to do is bring cash, but I think one mistake I made is I brought cash, but in large bills, like 50s and 20s. Bring cash, but small bills, because they're going to pander you for tips. That's how they make their living down there, is they get paid mostly through tips. And it don't matter what they do for you, they're gonna ask for a tip. No shame in their game. Like, can you tip the driver? Can you tip the bellboy? Can you tip the bartender? Can you tip? And I get it. Like, there's nothing wrong with tipping, but like I said, because I had large bills, I feel like there were a few times where they got a $20 tip when they didn't necessarily need that because that's all I had, or a $10 tip when it should have been a $2, $3 tip. So my best advice is bring cash for tips specifically because they're going to ask, but you want to have it in tip quantities, 5s, 1s, 10s, you know, things like that. So you're not giving like overly tipping, but also so you feel like you shouldn't tip because all you got is a 20 or all you got is a 50, because that's not really fair to them. They still deserve a tip. So bring cash, small bills, stay at a resort. And then another thing is book your taxis and stuff through the resort. So for example, the night that we went to the restaurant Funky Geisha, that was off the resort. And we booked that limo through the concierge service. So you just go up to the little bellboys, hey, we need a taxi real quick, can you order us one? That's probably the safest thing. I don't know if they got Uber and all that. We just did everything through the concierge. So that was also safer because even going back to the airport, we was just like, can y'all book us a taxi? And within minutes, the taxi was there. And it's just, again, safer. They know who are the reputable people to book you through. You're not on your phone just trying to find somebody. They can call them for you and get them there quick. So any taxis and things like that that you need off the resort, book it through the hotel concierge. Again, this is another benefit of staying on a resort. If you are doing excursions, like we did do the excursions, we did ATV, zip line, cenote, what else? Tequila tasting, all that was one excursion. Book through a reputable site. So who we booked through was Extreme Adventure Cancun. And we got to do all that and it cost $95. So it was pretty good. I think we booked on a group rate. I really don't know, but I know it was $95. And we got ATV, and I feel like we was on ATV all day, but it was at least like 30, 40 minutes. Zip line, like 5 different courses. The tequila tasting, they had lunch provided for us, and then transportation to and from the excursion, and then the cenote for 30 minutes. So that was worth it. And yeah, if you are going to Cancun, I would recommend that service, booking through them, Extreme Adventures Cancun, because I felt safe. It was a lot of people, not just our group, but a lot of people on the little bus from different hotels that had booked that excursion. So, you know, if anything went down, we would have all jumped the man. But I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, it was safe. So like I said, book reputable. Don't let just anybody walk up to you. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Because every little excursion is not reputable. So again, just trying to keep it safe. Another thing that I would say don't do is don't overeat at the buffet. So one thing I didn't show on the video, because again, I couldn't remember to record everything, was the food. To me, the food was all right. It wasn't like nothing to write home about on the resort. It was not nasty, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is the best food ever. I have to eat a certain type of diet. If you follow my channel, you already know I have autoimmune disorder, so I have to eat like clean and be very aware of that. As such, I wasn't just like at the buffet like, oh my God, burger, this, and that. And I also was just scared that if I ate meat from over there, I would get sick. I don't know why. I just was scared. So I was very adamant about what I ate. But I will say some of my friends was just eating, and then their stomachs started bubbling. So that's why I would say, just be careful, because in Mexico, their water isn't as clean and different things like that. And they have to cook with the water and stuff like that. So you want to enjoy and eat the food, yes, but don't overeat, because when them BGs get to going, you're gonna be not feeling good. And I feel like I never experienced that. I never had the bubble guts or felt bad, but I also was just like kind of sticking to my diet. So like for the breakfast, what I ate, and again, this is my diet typically, but they had like fresh squeezed, fresh pressed juices. So I had that and a banana every morning. That's all I had for breakfast. And then for lunch, they had different stations. Like how the resort was is they have a buffet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or they have restaurants on site. So they had a Mexican restaurant, a steakhouse, and like a bar and grill. So different things. But for the buffet specifically, it's just like a cafeteria. You can just go in and pick things out. Or they had little stations where they could fix it for you. Like one of the stations was a stir fry station. I just got a lot of veggies. So I ate a lot of veggies, not a lot of meat. Just because, again, I was scared. Now, when we went to the steakhouse, I did have steak, and I didn't get sick, but that was a steakhouse, you know, type of thing. So I say all that to say, enjoy yourself, eat, but don't just overdo it because you're gonna get the BGs. And then one thing I also recommend is only drink the bottled water or the purified water at the restaurants. And then I even brushed my teeth with the bottled water. I just didn't want to be down there like bubble guts, feeling sick. So I even brushed my teeth with the bottled water. So the good thing about the resort is they stock your fridge with drinks, beer, sodas, waters every day, and it's all included. So we was just chugging them waters. And again, I use those to even brush my teeth, like rinse my mouth out all with bottled water because I just didn't want to take no chances. So yeah, and just drink, like the drinks and all that, I mean, and liquor is of course free, so you probably gonna want to drink and then like chug water, you know, that way you're not feeling sick in that way either. Keep yourself hydrated because when you're drinking and drinking and drinking, because it is all inclusive and the drinks are free and the drinks is rolling, it's easy to get dehydrated. It's hot out there, it's, you know, 80, 90 degrees, like you want to keep yourself hydrated, so chug water. And I think the biggest don't go anywhere alone. Like if you, even in a resort, I wouldn't even go nowhere alone. Like, hey, yeah, I'm going down to the bar, take a buddy. I mean, we just living in them times where it's the buddy system. Somebody can go with you everywhere. I didn't feel unsafe on the resort, but I also wasn't wandering around the resort by myself. Like if we went anywhere, we was going in pairs or as a whole group or whatever it was, because these resorts are big. We done seen stories where people get lost on the resort, people get lost in the hotel, killed, this, that. I ain't taking no chances. Buddy system, take somebody with you no matter what, no matter where you're going. And definitely don't go off the resort by yourself. It's just not safe. Different country, unfamiliar territory. So those are kind of some of the do's and don'ts I would just recommend off the top of my head. Another thing that I was gonna mention is things I wish we could have done. Again, we was having fun and we had our whole itinerary, but we didn't get to everything because again, we was enjoying the trip. But they do have a strip in Cancun that's called the Hotel Zone. And there's like a lot of restaurants and clubs. I wish we would have got to see what that was all about, like what restaurants were there. And you know, what like little night outings. We didn't make it to none of that. They also have like a mall and it's called Fashion Harbor. And it has all the high-end designer stores like Gucci, Prada, Saint Laurent, Bottega Veneta, all those, like all them high-end designer stores. I would have loved to go see that just to see if there was a price difference. Probably not, but it would have been fun to just do the high-end shopping, just kind of window shopping in another country. Because I was kind of surprised to see a Gucci down there and a Louis and all that. So that's all on the strip. It's almost like Vegas, how Vegas got that strip of just stores and restaurants. It's literally like that. I also wish we would have gotten to take a picture by the Cancun sign, but that's up by the strip. We didn't make it there. And then the last thing I would do next time I go is to eat at an authentic Mexican restaurant. I'm talking about a hole in the wall, grandma, old granny making the tortilla restaurant, because that would have been so good in Mexico. Because I love Mexican food, but even the Mexican restaurant on the resort was Americanized. It was more Tex-Mex. It was not authentic. And so definitely next time I go to Mexico, I got to eat at an authentic Mexican restaurant because I just feel like that's going to be so good. And then lastly, okay, so I just had to bring this up before I wrap it up. We went to a tequila tasting and we really learned a lot about tequila. So one thing we learned about tequila, and now prior to us going to this tequila tasting, my favorite liquor was tequila. I like margaritas. That's just what I like. But now I'm looking at tequila different because the man explained to us how tequila is made. So in short, he said tequila is made from agave azul, which is the type of plant that you make tequila from. Now agave, he explained there are like hundreds of different forms of the agave plant, but agave azul is the one that you make tequila with. And then he mentioned that all of the commercial brands that we drink here in America, I'm talking about Patron, 1942, De Leon, Hironda, whatever the name of that other tequila, all the tequilas that y'all like, it's fake because it's not made with 100% agave azul. And so I was really surprised by that. And, you know, we kind of asked questions, but he mentioned that the process to ferment tequila is 7 years. It takes 7 years. If it's tequila blanco, it takes 7 years. And then if it's reposado, it takes an additional year to ferment in the barrel. And that's why reposado is a brown color. And then if it's tequila añejo, it takes 14 years because it's 7 years in the barrel and 7 years out of the barrel. And so he was just explaining that in commercial brands, who got 14 years, who got 8 years, 7 years. So what they do is they just put a little bit of agave azul in the tequila, and then they load it up with like chemicals and sugar. And that makes a lot of sense because I'm like, when I go out and I have a margarita or I have shots of Patron or whatever, you get to feeling sick the next day. And it's because your body is really consuming a little bit of the agave azul and mostly sugar and chemical. And so I'm like, dang, that's messed up. We over here really just, I got my Patron, I got my 1942, and you spending all this money and it ain't even real tequila. So I was pretty disappointed. But I did buy one of those real tequila bottles. It's this. You can't even buy this in stores. But what he mentioned is how we know it's real tequila is because it says on there 100% agave azul. And he was just, and you know, I have tequila on my bar and I'm looking and I'm like, most of the bottles, they say 100% de agave or puro agave. They don't say agave azul. So we over here drinking fake tequila and I'm pretty upset about it, but I got this. So if you're my friend and you ever want to take a shot, just let me know. But I just thought that was interesting. Like, dang, like, especially in the club, they charging all this money for 1942 and it's not even real tequila. They're bamboozling us. But anyway, I say all that to say Cancun was lit. We had so much fun. We went for a bachelorette trip. I bought this shirt to show Girls Trip Cancun. It was fun and I definitely would go back. I definitely felt safe. But again, just run it down again. Stay on the resort. Have small bills for tips. You know, don't overeat, don't overdrink, because then you'll just feel sick and you don't want to spend a whole day feeling sick. Shop, explore, but go everywhere in groups. Buddy system, don't go anywhere alone. Buy you some real tequila and have fun. So, if y'all ever been to Cancun or Mexico, comment below what your experiences were or if you have any other tips for people who might be watching this video. And then as far as the resort, Rio Cancun, I definitely do recommend that resort. It was nice. The rooms was nice. Oh, and I just want to mention, we paid about $1,400 total. So, shared rooms because it was 2 beds in a room. So $700 a person for 3 nights, all inclusive. So that's very affordable. That's how much it was. Now, granted, we booked a long time ago, but we didn't have to pay till we got there. So when you book through their website, you just pay $100 deposit and then you pay the rest when you get there. So again, this Royalton CHIC Cancun, it cost us $1,400 total. So $700 a person if you share in a room. $100 deposit at booking and then you just pay the rest when you get there. So definitely affordable, great place to visit. Let me know what you think or if you have any questions. In the meantime, I'll see y'all on the next video.